In my last video, I showed you 5 different ways to design your own Graphgan. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can take that design and turn it into a chart for your next crochet project. The first thing you need to do is to create a gauge swatch, wash it, and block it. I know this is a step that lots of people hate and they often skip it, but we are going to need to do it to figure out how big our chart needs to be. Once you have your gauge swatch, we're going to do some calculations. I know that can be off-putting for a lot of people, but don't worry. I've created a worksheet that's going to help you out. You can download it for free using the link in the description. Here's what we're going to do. Lay your swatch out flat, take a measuring tape, measure 4 inches and count the number of stitches in those 4 inches. Write this number down in the S box. Divide this number by 4. This may be a decimal point and that's absolutely fine. Don't round this number. Write this number down in the S1 box. We're now going to do a calculation to work out the stitch count for your blanket. Take the number that you've got for S1 and multiply it by your desired blanket width in inches. If the answer you get is a decimal point, round it up to the closest whole number, and that number you're left with is your stitch count for your blanket. We're now going to do the same thing for the rows. So lay your swatch out, measure 4 inches, and count the number of rows in those 4 inches. Write this number down in the R box. Divide this number by 4. Again, don't round it if it's a decimal. We're going to call this number R1. We're going to do a similar calculation as before. Take the R1 number and multiply it by the desired blanket length in inches. If you have a decimal point, round it up to the nearest whole number, and that number is your row count. Now that you have your stitch and row counts, it's time to create your chart using Stitch Fiddle. To get started, go to stitchfiddle.com and create a free account. Once you've created your account, click on Create New Chart and select Crochet. Then select Crochet with Colours. At this point, it's going to ask you about your yarn. In the search bar, type in the name of the yarn you'll be using for your project. If the yarn you're using is in the Stitch Fiddle database, it'll show up underneath the search bar where you can click on it to select it. If the yarn you're using doesn't show up, select No Preference. At this point, you're going to insert the design you've created by selecting From Picture and uploading an image. On the next screen, you'll see a pixelated version of your design, which we're going to tidy up a bit. Firstly, we're going to add the row and stitch counts you worked out earlier, so check the exact size box and enter the numbers you have written down. Next, we're going to add the gauge. From the drop-down menu, select Custom. For the width, enter the number you've got written down in the S box on your worksheet. And for the length, enter the number you've got written down for R. In the yarn section, adjust the colours option to match the number of different colours you'll be using in your project. Don't make any adjustments to the brightness or contrast options. Finally, click Save. You're now going to be able to clean up any areas that haven't converted very well by going in and changing the colours of individual squares. Select the colour you want to use from the top left-hand side and then click on the squares you want to change. Continue doing this until you are happy with your chart. Once you're happy with your chart, it's time to download it. Click the download icon from the top bar. There are a few different file type options to choose from. If you want to print your chart, select PDF. I like to change the margin size to extra small so there's less white space around the edges of the chart. You'll need to select your chart size. This will depend on how big your chart is. For smaller charts, you may be able to get away with a 1-page chart, but for larger charts, the squares will be too small if it's printed on 1 page. You'll probably need to try out a few different options to see what works best for you. Once you're done, click Apply to download the chart and print it. If you prefer working from written instructions, Stitch Fiddle can generate those for you, but this option is only available with a paid subscription. It is very affordable though, only £4 a month, about $5, or £24, $31 for a year. And that's it, you're now ready to go and crochet your very own Graphgan. But before you do, go and check out this video where I share all of my top Graphgan making tips. It might help you out along the way. And before you go, let me know in the comments, what design are you making? What is your Graphgan? I really want to know. I hope you found this tutorial helpful and I will see you in the next one.